7 at 4 on your hometown station, WDBJ 7.
You may have heard that fishing and being on the water is therapeutic. One organization working with veterans is taking that seriously, but its primary focus is much more than catching a fish. Here's tonight's Hometown Veterans honoring our heroes. Learning how to tie a fly or build your own rod, patience and focus are two key ingredients.
Best part being if you catch a fish on a fly you tied, on a rod you built, there's really no better feeling in the world.
Typically for fishermen, catching a fish is the goal, but the folks in this room are in a different boat.
I worked 1.5 miles underground. People don't know about those things because everybody was, happy, safe, and warm back home, and we were watching the Soviets. We were constantly threatened with $10,000 and 10 years in Leavenworth if we talked about anything.
So how does someone deal with trauma and PTSD or whatever kind of thing?
I didn't for 40 years.
1st Battalion, 6th Marines with the 22nd MEU, we were the first unit to push as far north as we did. No one had gotten that far north out of Kandahar. Physically, I sustained 0 injuries, luckily. Mentally, didn't come out of it whole.
Every person in this room has served our country, and for different reasons, all have been diagnosed with a service-connected disability. For some, it's PTSD. For others, it's physical injuries, like for Michael Doyle, losing his eyesight.
And until then, I was doing the poor me, pity me, why me. And then I realized I could do it if I could figure it out.
Project Healing Waters is an organization serving veterans through fly fishing with over 200 locations nationwide, including one in the Roanoke and the New River Valley area. The group meets on the first Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m. across from the Salem VA Medical Center. Lee Ames is a retired pastor and a current volunteer.
I have wanted to help veterans do something meaningful to work against PTSD. They're walking around everywhere in Roanoke, getting them outside to fly fish, repairing a fly rod for them, teaching them how to cast, tying a fly, buying them a burger. What little things that we can do through Project Healing Waters makes me feel more alive.
Brandon Wells is not only a Project Healing Waters ambassador, he's also an Afghanistan veteran who benefits from the program greatly.
Unfortunately, it took me another 20 years to get professional help, which it came down to a marriage that was starting to suffer, seriously suffer, before I acknowledged that I'm going to lose the most important person in my life. Got pretty good at fly tying. It was very therapeutic for me to tie flies. It helped slow down the drinking, honestly, because you can't be under the influence and tie a fly that's the size of your pinky nail. It just doesn't go.
The last day we fished in Yellowstone, I was coming up out of the river, walking up towards the road, and I stopped in this meadow surrounded by mountains, and I cried my eyes out.
Cold War veteran Jim Newman says the program is not just about tying flies, making rods, and fly fishing. A big catch is always nice, but the payoff for this cast runs deeper than what the river holds.
This has done more for me than anything in the past 40 years. Everybody in this group is my brother and sister. I felt welcome from day one. These guys have changed my life.
And a big thank you to all of the veterans who took the time to open up and really share, I think, some vulnerable moments, Brent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just personal insights into their personal story. It means a lot to me that they would share these things, but what they don't realize is that their testimonies can truly touch people through the television screen, other veterans who might be watching. Because we do know this. For some reason, a lot of the Afghanistan, Iraq war veterans tend to not come forward with things that they're suffering with, PTSD or what have you, not being able to sleep, depression, things like that. So having someone who's come from that era come out and say, listen, this is what I struggled with, and this is how Project Healing Waters has helped is huge, just because it can really help other people.
And getting out in the, first off the fellowship, and then getting out in the environment just to be a
with
part
nature.
of that. Now, can anybody be a part of this? How do people get involved?
Yeah, so obviously you can be any branch. I mean, I met so many different veterans in here from, oh goodness, the Korean War. I mean, man, woman, it doesn't matter. But you do, what they do is you go to the Salem VA, and if you have any sort of service-connected disability, it doesn't matter what it is, even if it's like a low level, you can then get transferred to Project Healing Waters, and they pay for everything. Brett.
really?
You need waiters, they pay for those
yeah.
things, the rods, the gear. Everything is paid for when it comes to Project Healing Waters.
That is amazing. And you can see,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they've come forward, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of great
Healing.
work. Yes, great work involved in that. So Melissa, great story.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
very
Thank
good.
you to all our veterans.
Yes.
Well, coming up right here on 7 at 4, a volleyball match smashes a world record.